Think of giving not as a duty, but as a privilege.
For his 8th birthday, Johnny received the best present he could have imagined.
"Come this way, Johnny,"
his mother said, leading him outside. Johnny followed her down the steps, out through the kitchen yard, and down to the henhouse. Johnny held his breath and hardly dared to hope. He loved their chickens so much. Could he really be getting
"your very own turkey"?
His mother's voice broke into his thoughts, and Johnny smiled. She reached into the henhouse and brought out a large brown fowl with smooth, beautiful feathers and bright eyes.
"She's a pedigree, and she's yours."
Unable to say anything, Johnny took her from his mother's hands and cradled her in his arms. For many nights afterward, Johnny was unable to sleep. Having his own turkey was a dream come true. He'd seen his mother look after the clutches of eggs while they waited to hatch, as well as the handfuls of coins she'd brought home from the market when she sold the young pullets and cockerels. He tossed and turned while visions of successful farming filled his mind. How many poults would his turkey have? And how much money would he make from her first clutch? Over the next few months, Johnny took good care of his turkey and cleaned her roost faithfully. He diligently watched for signs of foxes and snakes, and he repaired the coop whenever he found anything that might cause harm. He looked for the fattest, juiciest grasshoppers he could find to supplement the feed he scattered twice a day. And he made sure she always had fresh, clean water. Eventually, his little turkey began to lay. Johnny bounced with impatience and hovered anxiously while he counted the days until the emergence of the fluffy little brood. Much to his delight, 5 noisy, healthy poults were soon snuggled beneath his turkey's protective wings.
"Oh boy, I'm going to be the richest kid in the whole county,"
Johnny thought while he calculated his profits.
"If I sell them for 20 cents each, I'll have a whole $1."
That was an enormous amount of money for someone his age in the mid-1800s. When the 5 poults were old enough, Johnny was thrilled when a neighbor agreed to buy all 5. Johnny closed the deal with a handshake and shoved the dollar as deep as possible into his pocket. With his money securely tucked away, the young entrepreneur sprinted excitedly down the long, dusty lane and ran all the way home. He was rich. He could buy anything. A kaleidoscope of fantasies swirled through his head as his feet pounded the old dirt road. There were so many things he could buy. Toys, candies, ice cream. Nothing was out of his reach.
"Ma, you won't believe it. I sold all 5 of my baby turkeys. I must be the richest kid in the whole county. Can you believe it, Ma?"
"I believe it, son. You can do anything you set your mind to complete. You're very smart, and you worked hard for this. There is one thing I need you to realize, though."
"What is it, Ma?"
"Well, son, not all of that money is yours.
I worked hard for it. How can it not be mine?"
The Bible says that our money belongs to God. All money belongs to God. He gave you the strength and health to make your first dollar, and now He asks that you comply with His word and return 10% to Him.
"But that's a whole dime, Ma. That's far too much. Can I just give him a penny?"
Now, son, I guarantee you that if you fulfill your obligation with God, you'll never regret it.
And turned to the book of Malachi.
"For I am the Lord, I change not." That's from Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. "Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me." If you look a few verses down, you see Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it."
As she shut the Bible, Johnny was quiet as he thought about those words for a minute.
"I guess you're right, Ma. After all, I'll still be the richest kid in the county.
Johnny continued to raise healthy premium turkeys and faithfully gave 10% from each sale to the local Baptist church. In time, he became a prosperous young man and realized that his mom was right. He never regretted returning 10% of his income to God. In 1855, Johnny turned 16 and found a job as a bookkeeper for a local wholesale firm, Hewitt & Tuttle. As always, John demonstrated an excellent work ethic, starting at 6:30 a.m. and often working until 10 p.m., even though he was only earning $4 a week. Jobs were tight, and John was unwilling to quit. But even though he was underpaid, he continued to give 10% of his earnings to the local Erie Street Baptist Church. He believed and trusted that God would open a supernatural door of prosperity when the time was right. While he waited, John gave generously, almost fanatically. His gifts supported preachers, poor congregants, missionaries, and a school for the poor. God honored his faith and actions. When Tuttle quit the firm, Hewitt offered half of the company to his hard-working bookkeeper, John. He accepted, of course, and more than doubled his pay. While John was proud of the achievement, he realized it was God who had arranged this door of opportunity just as he had promised. Under John's leadership, the company prospered, and by the time that John D. Rockefeller turned 23, he was one of only a few young self-made millionaires in America. He regularly gave over and above the standard 10% that his mom had taught him. Later, John wrote,
I have tithed, given 10% of, every dollar God has entrusted to me. And I want to say, if I had not tithed the first dollar I made, I would not have tithed the first $1 million I made. Tell your readers to train their children to tithe, and they will grow up to be faithful stewards of the Lord.
At the age of 53, Rockefeller became America's first billionaire. This gave him a level of wealth never seen before in the United States. Then, John developed alopecia, which is an autoimmune disorder as well as a digestive disease. His body was in tremendous pain, and he lost all of his hair. The man with enough money to dine at the most prestigious restaurants in New York City could only swallow crackers and milk. Procured the best physicians in the world, determined that John had only one more year to live. John once woke in a state of great fear and panic.
I had a terrifying dream,
he said later.
I was on the verge of leaving this body. Death was calling out to me, and I almost surrendered. But then, I heard a voice. The voice of an angel said, Your mission on earth is unfinished. Do not worry about whether or not you will die. You will live. You are a man with a great destiny to fulfill on earth. When you leave this earth, you will leave your riches behind.
This dream made a notable impact on John D. Rockefeller. At this point, his total worth was approximately $900 million, and the dream rekindled his desire to give his money away to benefit humanity. Finding new and radical ways to be generous, John gave away $540 million.
It has seemed as if I was favored and got increases because the Lord knew that I was going to turn around and give it back.
As soon as he resumed his extravagant giving, Rockefeller's company, Standard Oil, began to show astonishing profits. Even though he gave away the bulk of his fortune, he gained even more wealth. Amazingly, the moment he began to give back a portion of all that he earned, his body's chemistry was altered so significantly that he recovered. It looked as if he would die at 53, but he lived to be 98.
These are days when many are discouraged. In the 93 years of my life, depressions have come and gone. Prosperity has always returned and will again. And now on this my birthday, I desire to reaffirm my belief in the fundamental principles upon which this country was founded: liberty, unselfish devotion to the common good, and belief in God.